CherieHanson here. I'll tell you the fable of my adventures last night, which were really interesting. I usually walk the same way around my blocks and get some steps in. And as I headed out the door, a very, very strong, wet snowstorm came and fell on everything. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I won't go the usual route. It's kind of long. I'll maybe take a shorter place to go. And then in my childlike enthusiasm, which is good, but does get me into difficulties at times, I started to go around to take pictures of the beautiful light show that people had put on their houses. So the long and the short of it was that I came to an understanding that I had no idea where I was. And of course, for anyone who doesn't understand what it's like to be wearing bifocal glasses in a wet, sticky snowstorm, let me explain that my vision was severely obscured. And of course, trying to wipe the snow off of my glasses only made it worse. So now I'm in this story of the ship that gets blown off of its route, no longer having the trade winds taking it where it normally goes. And I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm having an adventure. It's not something I set out for. I like everything to be the same every day, don't we all? And I came to a place on the sidewalk of this magnificently lit up house, and standing there was a tall woman with her, a man who was with her, and we had a 20-minute conversation about cultural history, about cultural anthropology, about the way that you assume about people with their presentation of their physicality. And we were just having a blast. It was so fun. I'm standing there thinking, oh my God, what a magical life I'm living. And I invited him to my house for my Chinese open house. And this is getting me to the point that I wanted to talk about today. I think that for me, because I'm very metaphoric in my structure of my thinking, if I imagine myself sitting at a cafe, a sidewalk cafe, and I am observing two people at a table in front of me, and I am watching the interchange. I am watching the energy. I am watching, are they supportive of one another? Is one criticizing the other? Is there consistency in the way they approach one another? Is there a sense of gentleness and kindness and compassion? And I know that this is how I look at myself. There is a part of myself that will show up and try to make me critical. It's called the ego or the subconscious mind. It is critical. You didn't do enough. You didn't do everything on your checklist. And so I posited this idea, what if you were sitting back, uninvolved, and just observing your relationship with yourself? oh, you idiot, look at you. You dropped the hard-boiled egg on the carpet. Now you're going to have to wipe it off. If I were watching someone talk to another person that way, what I would immediately see is this is very, very negative and controlling, and it's not helping the other person. It's not giving the other person what the other person needs to be happy. And what do we need to be happy is unconditional love. If you had a family that didn't give you unconditional love, or if you, I was an academic for 9 years, so my relationship with authority figures was about always having my performance graded, having my depth, my substance of thought graded, my way of expressing myself red penciled. And so that gets internalized. So we have the watchdog, we have the critic, we have the angry parent that is internalized inside of us. And I can say that as I am going through different things in my life now, because of my mindfulness practice, I'm very aware that if I think something negative about myself, if I am blaming myself, if I am not trusting myself, if I'm expecting perfection from myself, I'm just sabotaging myself. That's all that is. I feel small, hard, criticized. And so when I get in these places like I was last night, I can see the person sitting across the table from me who's very critical and very controlling and very angry as they discipline me as someone I don't need to listen to. Do you get that? And it's quite delightful. So I'm walking through the snow. I can't see the street signs. I have to get up practically and scale the pole and go up to where the sign is to be able to read it. And I'm tempted to let my negative, dark self make remarks to me. And what I was doing was so fun. I just kept saying back to this voice, it's an adventure. You're on an adventure. You're like an Arctic explorer who doesn't know the landscape. This is amazing. This is so interesting. You're getting so many steps in. It's so good for your body. And then I met the two people on the sidewalk, and I have been asking the universe to please send me more people who read, more people who study human culture and human psychology, more people who have a distant view of the mores and the imprinting that happen in our culture. And it's exactly what this professor teaches. I was going like, woo! So, in the moment, we always have the choice. But if we have not seen unconditional love, it's kind of like a person who has been locked away in a dark room for 15 years and then is taken out and asked to do cliff diving. You know, it's fine. Just dive. Like, no. So here's where we come to the edge. Here's where we come to the edge of growth. When do we take the challenge? When do we come to a place where we accept the state of not being in control, the state of not expecting perfectionism from ourselves, and just embrace that? I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm getting to the place now where I'm quite proud of it. When I go to get technical help, when I go take my phone in, when I am trying to figure something out that I don't understand, I feel so good about the fact that I can say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't understand it. My self at 40 or 50 or 60 would never do that. I would have been full of shame. I would have felt, just like not worthy of breath. You have to earn your breath. You have to earn your right to be on the earth. You're always working to get more badges on your Girl Scout sash. Look how many badges I have. You can barely see the fabric underneath. And so these things are the two things I'm really working on right now, is to admit when I don't understand something. The second one I'm working on is asking for help. Yes. I see my ancestors all pushing back the gravestones, the turf, the boulders on the surface of their graves, and coming at me like a Michael Jackson, Thriller. What are you doing? We don't do that in our family. We never do that. What are you doing? I'm going like, I'm sorry. I really thank you for all the gifts you've given me, all of the skills, all of the lessons, all of the interest in fabric and fashion and weaving and writing. Sir Walter Scott was one of my ancestors, for pity's sake. They gave me things. But I know when I'm in a place where I no longer accept their story if it's going to stop my growth. And I had such a beautiful day yesterday because I was constantly aware of the fact that I didn't know what I was doing. And it felt great. It's like putting on something that just feels beautiful. It makes you feel beautiful. Like, look at me, I'm wearing my ignorance, and it's all sparkly and fits me perfectly. So this is the central issue most of us have. Most of us are not able to see what our relationship with ourself is. We are in such a habituated state of self-criticism, of striving for perfectionism. The other thing that we do is because we feel so badly and we just feel so low energy, we have to sabotage ourselves with alcohol or Netflix or chocolate or running around for no reason. Oh, that's a great one. I'll distract myself by getting in the car 17 times this week and going to get a what's it or that's it or the knob or the whatever. And that just keeps us in a state of addiction. And we're so satisfied with it. It's not a problem. Addiction's not a problem. Having a negative self-image is not a problem. criticizing yourself continually is not a problem. Just look at the culture. You can see how many radiant, content, calm people are everywhere, right? I find them, and I'm always thanking God when they show up. It's like, thank you. I will actually say that to people. I will say that, there was a woman the other day that I was walking past, and she was behind a counter, and I said, thank you for your beauty. I said, you're so beautiful, and it just lifts my heart. And the man that came up to the counter behind me said to the woman, thank you from me too. I appreciate your beauty. I was just like, we need to teach one another that there's another way. It's up to us to teach ourselves, to give ourselves unconditional love, and to be an example of a better way of living, because the culture is absolutely insane, dark, and falling in. And we don't want to live in that condemned building. Do we? I don't think so. Anyway, I want to say to you, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Do subscribe today if you manage to find me in the multiverse, the various dimensions that are going on. And give a thumbs up or a comment, share if you think my message might be of help to someone else that's just not seeing what they're doing to themselves. And I always say, because I feel this completely, I appreciate you.